Hello and welcome back to Cinematic Venom and happy Father's Day! Well, last year I did a review of my wonderful dad, but unfortunately, much like my mum, he's not available to come back today. So I decided to bring in my uncle who's going to help me review this film. Ladies and gentlemen, my Uncle John Cena.
Hey everybody out there, this is John Cena.
How you doing? You good?
Every time you people see me, it should be a freaking pay-per-view!
Manchester by the Sea takes place in Manchester by the Sea, featuring Casey Affleck, who plays a reclusive hermit named Lee. He distanced himself from others, and the film cuts back and forth between present day of him moping around to the past where he hangs out with his nephew before his brother Joe, played by that guy from Game Night, sadly passes away from cardiac arrest. Unbeknownst to Lee, however, Joe has left his son Patrick now in his care. It's kind of the darker version of Big Daddy.
Thought he was funny.
What?
That's totally retarded!
Don't ask me why.
Obviously Lee is hesitant, and we learn that he used to have a drinking problem which caused problems in his marriage to Michelle Williams, before he unintentionally causes a house fire, killing all 3 of his own children.
It's like a mafia movie. I have you cheering the bad guys.
What? And this is why he can't bear to take on Patrick, scared that he's just incapable of parenting. On a sadder and more serious note, however, in April of 2017, a couple in upstate New York called Heather and Ernest Franklin murdered their adopted and disabled son by burning their house to the ground to try to destroy any evidence against them. They had just watched Manchester by the Sea a few hours earlier and were apparently inspired by this movie. Can't we just watch films anymore?
You the poster child for the birth control pill.
What?
I'll beat his ass so sore it's like he did a prison tour.
Dude.
This is thugonomics.
What's wrong with my family?
It's a stupid question.
The movie wanted to portray a sense of grief and guilt, which is sometimes impossible to recover from. So Affleck's character of Lee doesn't really change or ever get over his issues in the film, no matter how hard he tries. Movies usually have things wrapped up and resolved, but the director wanted to show that sometimes it's not always possible to overcome it. I don't like the fact that nowadays it feels like it's not permissible to leave something unresolved. Some people live with their trauma for years. I'm not interested in rubbing people's faces in suffering, but I don't like this lie that everybody gets over things that easily. Some people can't get over something major that's happened to them at all. Why can't they have a movie too? That actually makes a lot of sense. I'm with him.
The only bush he see is by watching George W.
Excuse me?
You just a fat slob with hairy baloney tits. I got more hits on the mic than free porno websites.
Okay.
Thank you.
Originally, Matt Damon and John Krasinski approached the director to develop the story in New England, but Lonergan wanted to include specific details of the area in Manchester by the Sea. Some even said since the main character is from New England, it explains why he hardly ever emotes. So apparently anyone from New England is an emotionless robot.
I'm the real dark side, half machine like Darth Vader.
Good for you.
Just something about you makes me keep in touch with myself.
You're my uncle!
No, I'm not.
But Damon and Krasinski wanted to come up with a film about an emotionally crippled handyman, with the idea of Krasinski starring and Damon directing. But both were occupied with other work, while Lonergan had already been working on the script for 3 years. After reading the screenplay, Matt Damon insisted on Lonergan directing with him as the lead, with pre-production beginning on September the 8th, 2014. But later that year, Casey Affleck replaced Damon in the lead role due to scheduling conflicts. Damon actually admitted he wouldn't have given up the role to anybody but Casey Affleck. And maybe Ben.
What is with that guy?
Manchester by the Sea was premiered on January the 23rd, 2016 at the Sundance Film Festival, leading to Amazon Studios buying the distribution rights for $10 million, making it the second largest disclosed purchase at the Sundance Film Festival, only after The Birth of a Nation. It went on to gross a worldwide total of $79 million on a budget of just $9 million and was loved by most. It went on to become nominated for 6 Academy Awards, only picking up Best Actor for Affleck and Best Original Screenplay, but it did become the first ever film released by a digital streaming service to be nominated for Best Picture, while Affleck also picked up a Golden Globe. Although they spent the first minute listing 700 companies responsible for making the damn thing, it opens with such peaceful and quiet, calm and soothing establishing shots of the scenery. Aw, this is just gorgeous, nothing bad is gonna happen. I must admit, originally I was questioning why the hell Affleck handles everything so nonchalantly. Right here he's fixing a woman's sink and she's on the phone clearly professing her love about him, and he's just like, oh god, another one, oh well.
We never met. No. So what the fuck you looking at me for?
I mean, Affleck is painted like the bad guy here, and we're meant to be like, oh my god, why is he acting like that? I just can't wait to find out why he's behaving this way. But I mean, why is he the bad guy? He's got a point. Why were they looking at him? But he does deliver everything so casual and calmly, and yet it's quite badass.
I'm sorry, Lee. He passed away about an hour ago.
Oh. Why do I find that reaction so funny? Your brother just died. Oh.
Well, at least I got a ball sack.
I mean, when you're at this point of the movie for the first time, you are wondering why he never shows emotion, but it does make sense later.
The statistics vary widely. You're not a statistic. You're just one person, and we don't know what's going to happen to you yet. But it's not a good disease.
Is there a good disease?
What is a good disease?
Hey, he gets me.
Poison ivy.
No, that's all bad. I got you.
Well, F you, cause I just don't give up.
But the thing is, there's no indication that these are flashbacks. I was so confused for the first half of the movie. There's no way of knowing. There's no transition, there's no caption. I had to rewind once I realised, and that's no good. The flashback dragster. Affleck acts charming with his kids, tries to seduce his wife. She says, no, I'm sick. He strips, seduces her again. Just get on with it. And even Patrick doesn't react to being told his dad has just died. Does anybody in this family react like a normal person? I mean, it makes sense why Affleck doesn't react normally, but is this kid a robot?
No, this is Patrick.
Let's just go. What the fuck are you doing?
I just said let's go inside.
No, you said let's just go, and then you get out of the car
Okay, I
without
meant
telling
let's
me
just
what
go
the fuck's
inside.
the
Let's
matter
just go
with
look
you?
at. What's your problem?
My problem is I could have ripped your fucking leg
Okay,
off.
okay, I'm sorry I misused the English language.
What's the point in that?
Do you mind saying she stayed downstairs? Like if they call or something?
Okay. I'm supposed to tell you to use a condom?
I just love how he fails to be a dad to a teenage boy. It's just really funny.
You're a baby. I don't know whether to spank you or breastfeed you. I'll whack you more times than a masturbation tournament.
I don't think you're a normal uncle. But is it just me, or is this incredibly douchey? So he heads to this prick, and he's told that Patrick is now in his care.
I'm astonished that Joe didn't run this by you, thorough as he was.
Yeah, because he knew what I would say if he would have asked.
So he left me no choice like a douchebag. What the hell? So now he has to either commute to Boston every day or completely change his life around on this short notice. A little heads up would have been nice. The idea was that despite Affleck's character being completely reclusive and cut off, he was close with his brother. And his bro doing this was his way of trying to get Affleck back out there into the real world. Still, a little warning would have sufficed. In fact, he'd also need his brother's written permission for this to actually go ahead. He can't just say it.
I don't understand.
But this is easily the best part of the film. As he takes in the news of his newfound parenthood, we cut to the flashback of the fire to learn what happened for the first time, and his motivation, being too afraid to let down his brother and too scared to take on a child again. It makes sense, and you really feel his pain. Then he gets interrogated at the police station, and his lack of emotion makes perfect sense at last. His acting here is tremendous, and he definitely deserved that Oscar. You can tell that he's a broken man, he's just lost everything and given up hope, which is why he pushes people away and seems emotionless. You can feel his guilt, it wasn't intentional, and you really do hope he pulls through this ordeal. He even then attempts suicide at the police station. The film was kind of dragging a bit before this for me, as there was no real overall narrative or plot, but this section is absolutely incredible and pulled me right back in. This is some of the best filmmaking in years.
You got anyone to give you a ride back home? Is Joe here? Is your dad here?
I would, but it just burned down, you asshole!
You're so goddamn sure of yourself. There's no one to run it. You're 16
I
years
get my
old.
license this year.
Doesn't matter. You're still a minor. You can't run a commercial vessel by yourself. Meanwhile, it's a big fucking expense, and I'm the one that's gonna manage it, and I'm not gonna be here.
Who gives a fuck where you are?
Patty, I swear to God, I'm gonna knock your fucking block off.
Great parenting.
What? What'd you say?
I said great parenting.
Fuck you. Mind your fucking
it's good
business.
No, I'm on Lee's side. I hate when people do that. This was actually based on a real event the director went through, where someone walked past and criticised his parenting. Blow me.
We can't do that.
But there are some scenes that do nothing. I went over the whole argument in the car earlier, but here they can't find the car, and I originally thought, oh wow, it got stolen, but no. They walk up and down trying to find it, and then they find it. What was the point in that? I mean, they're talking Bond, but they could have just done that walking to the car. I don't know why, but I just love the look on his face. It's hilarious. I mean, he even turns down a woman who is obviously hitting on him, but you understand his conflict. It's a very human response.
Jesus Christ. How do you unbuckle this? I'm scraping the skin off my knuckles.
That was funny. But bear in mind that these characters are 16 and we're about to watch them have sex. I'm very uncomfortable.
His car bounces up and down because he sits on the stick shift.
And then he finds out his ex-wife is now pregnant. Is there anything else that could go wrong in his life? Weirdly, we then get another flashback. I don't really understand why. We haven't had one for a while and we're now 90 minutes in. It seems odd to put one at this point. It doesn't seem like it fits. And only now does Patrick react to his dad's death. Yeah, I guess his emotions lagged.
She's in Essex.
Are there any original location names in America?
Why do you need me? Why do you want me? Why do you love me?
Stop. Otto.
What?
Man.
I'm too slow?
Too fast, man. You're dragging.
You're way too fast, man.
Not quite my tempo.
You were a tremendous help.
I didn't ask to sit down.
You can't make small talk like every other grown-up in the world?
Hey, it's my spirit animal.
You're a fucking asshole.
Dude, the mum clearly said she was sat with him for half an hour.
He won't talk. I've been trying to make conversation for half an hour.
And you didn't even start shagging her by then? You didn't even attempt to start the foreplay? Don't blame him, you had your chance. And just when Affleck's life couldn't possibly get any worse, it's Matthew Broderick.
I want you to be happy.
I didn't even see you walking around here. And I just want to tell you.
I would want to talk to you, Randy. Please,
Please. You gotta know what.
You know, I have noticed that so much of the movie is just people talking over each other. The acting here is amazing, but it's just awkward and annoying after a while. As explained, Affleck doesn't really change. We're 2 hours in and he still randomly starts fight with people in bars. There's been no transition, but I agree with the director and I think it works quite well. But it goes on for a bit after that. It's like they're just killing time for the sake of it. What else is there left to do? Although he has a dream of his kids, which is creepy as hell, before he wakes up to a smoke alarm. I'm not even gonna lie, a part of me thought it was all a dream and he just woke up in time to stop the fire. And I think I would have been okay with that.
Why can't you stay?
You spent most of the movie arguing and now you want him to stay? Now, I guess it's a real relationship. He looks up to him and he's always been there for him despite them not seeing eye to eye. He is a teenager who doesn't like being told what to do, so their love-hate relationship is very real.
I'm gonna get some ice cream.
Go ahead.
I have some money.
Yes.
But look at how he talks to him. I'm not surprised he's leaving. Then again, Affleck's a douche too. I'm so confused. What's going on? The movie is actually pretty good. Affleck's performance in particular sells the picture. It's a very real and human story. Very relatable, very believable, very heartbreaking, and it will really move you. I love the ending and that it's not resolved, and I love the journey we go on with this character. Sometimes it does drag, but not enough to bring the entire film down, and the whole custody thing doesn't make any sense, but it's still an amazing film that's worth checking out.